This is soft bigotry. This is a soft bigotry of the woke left and what they think of our black children and our brown children. This is what they think of them. What she did is an expression of what they think of our children. They think our children are dumb and stupid and cannot achieve unless they lower the standards. Thank you so much for liking your comments and subscribing to the channel. Please share this with your friends. Smash that like button. Smash the subscription bell. Share this with everybody you know. We're trying to make sure people understand that they're not victims, that they are empowered for greatness, and all this stuff that's out here that's telling them otherwise is false and will not benefit them in the end. So please, I appreciate that. Share that. So recently, Oregon Governor Kate Brown just dropped the requirement that students demonstrate they have achieved essential skills in reading, writing, and math at a high school level. She signed this bill and it was quietly done. It was done very quietly. She signed it last month. And I believe why it was done so quietly, because of the outrage that it is generating. Because it is soft bigotry. Because the reason why they lowered the standards was for the benefit of Oregon's Black, Latino, Latina, Latinx, Indigenous, Asian, Pacific Islander, tribal, and students of color. You notice, it's all students of color. If it was truly for all students, if it was truly something that was not based upon the color of your skin, they would have mentioned white children in there. But they didn't. This is soft bigotry. This is a soft bigotry of the woke left and what they think of our black children and our brown children. This is what they think of them. What she did is an expression of what they think of our children. They think our children are dumb and stupid and cannot achieve unless they lower the standards. That's why I call it soft bigotry. They believe that our children are not smart. This is so similar to the way that white supremacists think. This falls in line with what white supremacists think. And the wokeness and the woke culture sounds very similar to the way that white supremacists think. This is how, during Reconstruction and during Jim Crow, they honestly thought that black people and black children were stupid, that they could not achieve the same level of success as white children. Now, back then, they didn't lower the standards. They just had segregation. But back then, it was proven that, yeah, black children are just as smart, if not smarter, than white children when given the opportunity. But the problem here is woke educators are not giving the children the tools that they need to achieve. They're not. In turn, they're lowering the standards, which is going to produce lower results, which is going to instill mediocrity in those children. It's going to instill a victim mentality in those children. And they're going to feel oppressed. And you know who they're going to blame? The system. It is a vicious cycle. This is a vicious cycle. They're going to blame the system. And you know what? They should blame the system. The system failed them, but the system failed them on purpose to make them dependent upon the government. That's the whole ploy of this wokeness, Marxist, socialist agenda. To make people dependent upon the government. Because when you're dependent upon the government runs your life. And so they're creating a generation of children who will become adults, who do not have the basic reading, writing, and math skills to be successful citizens. And you know what happens? They have to live off the government dole. And so the government can control them. The more people the government can control, the more power the government can seize. I'm going to say that again. The more people the government can control, the more power the government can seize. And when the government seizes power, it does not relinquish it. And when they have control over your life, over my life, they do not relinquish it. They do not. This is a contrast, and this is a battle between, do you want the government to run your life, or do you want to have the freedom and the liberty to control and run your own life the way you see fit? As a Christian, God, Jesus, runs my life. The government does not run my life. I am led by the Spirit of God. I trust in Him. He leads and guides me where I need to go. He is the source of my supply. He is the source of everything I have. He's my source, not the government. But see what this is setting up? This is setting up a generation of young men, of young women who don't have the basic skills to be successful. They will not be productive citizens. They will be totally dependent upon the government, upon programs. They will, because they've been failed. They are set up for failure. They have been failed by the educational system. They have been failed by our country. They have been failed by parents. All in the name of fairness. But it's not fair. Lowering of standards is soft bigotry. Lowering of standards does nothing to help the people you're lowering the standards for. It hurts them. See, that's the contradiction here. That's the irony here. The lowering of standards does not help the people you're lowering it for. It hurts them even more. It's the soft bigotry of low expectations. When you expect less, you get less. When you expect more, you get more. It's the soft bigotry of low expectations. That's what happens. The soft bigotry of low expectations. That's what this is. The soft bigotry. It's soft. It's not blatant. It's not in your face, but it's there. Of these low expectations. And while we're lowering our standards, China is raising their standards. I was reading this article here, and it talks about how in China, Asian teachers simply know more about math. In a comparison of 162 third grade mathematics teachers in the US and the People's Republic of China, the researchers found that while American teachers were more knowledgeable about general educational theories and classroom skills, Chinese teachers had a stronger knowledge of the subject matter they were teaching, as well as a better understanding of the overall elementary curriculum that their students had covered and would cover in later years. Look at that. Our teachers know more about theory and classroom skills, and the Chinese teachers know more about the actual subject matter and curriculum. Who do you think will be the leaders in the future? Who do you think will run this world in the future? Not the dumbed down American students, and it's not their fault. This is one time we'll say, no, it's not their fault. The children are being abused. This is cruel and unusual punishment. This is cruel and unusual punishment for those children. The children are set up to fail, and they're set up to fail in the name of fairness, in the name of equity. But know this, equal opportunity does not produce equal results. It does not. It does not. I'm sorry. Life is not fair. The Bible doesn't talk about fairness. It talks about righteousness and justice. This is not right, and this is not just. To lower the standards, this is not right. This is not just. So we have to fight against this. We have to push back against this. All in the sake of fairness for black and brown children? No. Black and brown children need the opportunity to grow. They need the opportunity and the resources and the skills to grow. They need teachers that care about them, that would teach them what they need to know in an environment that's rigorous, challenging, but yet encouraging. That's what they need. They don't need their standards lowered. They need teachers' standards raised. That's what they need. Because they're not victims. They are empowered for greatness. We are not victims. We are empowered for greatness. And we can't stand by and let a victim mentality be born in these children. Because that is what will happen when things like this continue to progress and continue to percolate in our schools. Because we are not victims. They are not victims. They are empowered for greatness, and we are empowered for greatness. And we have to make sure that we establish that standard for them. We don't lower the standards, we raise it. And we raise the ability of the teachers that are teaching them. We can't lower our standards. We can't lower the standards. The standard is the standard, and it's high. And I believe our children can reach that, given the proper tools and the proper encouragement and the proper environment. They can reach that.